to introduce our first speaker. So the first presentation is about construction industry during this time of pandemic. Our first speaker had his postgraduate degree in Kyoto University. He specializes in project management and operations and business management. He was the senior vice president of First Balfour, and he also was the president and CEO of Aboitiz Construction Incorporated in 2016 to 2020. He is a trustee in the Philippine Constructors Association National Chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome and give a virtual applause to Engineer Alberto A. Ignacio Jr.
Thank you. Maayong hapon, good afternoon to everyone. In behalf of Barry Paulino, the Executive Director of PCA, who is currently very tied up with many meetings related to the construction industry, as we're facing a lot of challenges, which I will describe later on. I was requested to take care of this presentation for PIC Cebu, and I gladly accepted. You know, I've been assigned in Cebu for 4 years rather, and until last September 30, I retired early from Aboitiz Construction as the CEO, and I'm back in Manila. So I felt that even through a virtual seminar like this with PIC Cebu, it would be an opportunity to feel like being in Cebu again. I'm supposed to talk about the construction industry in the midst of this pandemic, and to put a certain degree of excitement and energy, I decided that the topic, instead of just copy-pasting construction industry in the pandemic, I felt that by coming up with a title of this presentation, as you know, as you will see, sorry, I have to share my screen. I'm sorry. Apologies for that. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So instead of having the subject construction industry in the middle of this pandemic, to put energy and enthusiasm and even excitement, you know, as we are in the construction industry having severely hit, I felt that the title should be more positive, and I used building back better, which is now the mantra as well of the Philippine construction industry. So we all know that it has been 7 months, no, since the lockdown. I was fortunate to be able to return back to Cebu on the last flight from Manila to Cebu. And since then, when I was still with Aboitiz Construction, all our projects in Luzon have been put on hold since the lockdown. And I am sure that even other contractors had the same experience. And while 2 months ago or thereabouts, we've been allowed to resume work in our construction sites in Luzon, the restrictions still made it difficult for all of us. Okay, so even until now, we have a lot of challenges. And as I mentioned, even if the IATF has allowed the resumption of works under the different quarantine conditions, I've heard from the other members of the board of PCA that they have their own challenges like manpower. No, it's very difficult to bring people to Mindanao from Manila, or bring people from Mindanao to Manila, vice versa to Cebu, because of the quarantine, the test requirements. And in fact, if I can share with you, in late August, when we were sending people to Mindanao, to General Santos, for example, we had people, they had to undergo the swab test as a requirement of Davao because they were flying through Davao. And when they arrived in Davao, despite the fact that they were negative in Cebu when tested, they were positive. So everybody had to wait for another 14 days for them to be cleared and be able to resume work. So these are just some of the challenges that have faced us since the lockdown and even until now. And there are also challenges in terms of supply chain. Definitely the procurement, supply chain management, all of these have been affected by the pandemic. And even until now, we cannot and should not let our guards down. So I have on the screen, and I'm sure the organizers would share this presentation with you. These are just some of the things that PCA put together as the things that there are more than 10 things to consider, but we felt that the priority are listed on the screen as you see. No? So number one, let me just go through this very quickly. We have to identify doable projects under the new normal. It cannot be anymore just like the way we did things before. No? We have to update our project execution plans. A lot of these have changed. The physical distancing requirements has severely impacted the project execution plan. We have to plan, we have to identify and screen our personnel. You know, from our experience also, while we had our personnel, our workers, 900 of them in one site, all in a barracks, but if there are other 7,000 workers in the same site from other contractors who are allowed to go home every day, so it's very difficult to implement the safety and health protocols. And we also had local workers, for example, in Batangas, who would insist on going home every day, and they're putting everyone in the barracks at risk. So, you know, we have to identify and we have to screen the people we're hiring. And definitely, we have to draw our site management plan based on the DPWH construction safety guidelines. As you know, I think PCA has issued some guidelines, the harmonized guidelines, because when DPWH issued DO 39, DOL also issued another DO, and DTI also issued another DO. So PCA tried to harmonize all of this, while we recognize that the DPWH construction safety guidelines would govern for construction. Likewise, we have to appoint, enable, and really empower our safety officers on site. And then, unlike in the past, when we could just lay out and design our facilities based on the usual practice before the pandemic, now things have changed. Even the sizes of the barracks, you now have to provide mess halls, complying to physical distancing, etc., etc. And it's very important also, something happened to the presentation. You can still see that?
Yes, sir, we can see your presentation.
I think that's okay
there.
now, Albert. 10
Yes,
things
sir.
to consider.
Yeah, but it's not in a slideshow format. I don't know what happened.
Now, sir, it's in a slideshow format.
Sorry. Anyway, if I may continue.
Yes, please.
So we can send if I sort of a copy of the recommended guidelines issued by PCA, and this can also be viewed on the PCA Facebook page. No, okay. What happened? Give me a second. Okay, there you are. You know, one big question asked by many contractors and even the other people in the outside of construction industry, what is the forecast for 2020 for our industry? Well, just like other businesses, the rest of the year is mainly geared towards survival. Even Jack Ma said, I don't have the exact words, but he said, if we survive 2020, that's more than enough. No, we don't expect to make money this 2020. The impact of the past 7 months really totally destroyed our expectations for good revenues. Just to survive up to year in 2020 is very good enough. And as far as the industry is concerned, also our industry in the construction industry, I've read somewhere that even NEDA said that the growth of the construction industry is negative 33% for this year. That's a big impact. And the other falling businesses are also affecting us. In fact, there were projects that we bidded out in late 2019, and they were supposed to be awarded within the first half of 2020. These projects, big projects, have been deferred. Some were canceled, and some, they were just very quiet. No, they were put on hold. industrial plants that were supposed to be started, the construction to be started in mid-2020. We don't know until now if the project will still push through. And also, I'd like to inform everyone, the contractors who are attending today, that our industry is also facing a lot of hostile actions. I'm sure some of you, if not many of you, have read in the papers that in a very recent Supreme Court ruling, no, the foreign contractors are now allowed to get regular license just like the Filipino contractors. In the past, the foreign contractors would only have special license with a required capitalization or investment in the Philippines. But now under the new Supreme Court ruling, which is being discussed very, very seriously by PCA, is that the foreign contractors will now compete with the local contractors. No? They can get regular licenses. And contrary to what other groups in media and foreign construction companies are saying, we believe that they are not actually bringing in foreign investments, these foreign contractors. You have a foreign contractor coming into the Philippines, like for example, some Chinese contractors. They don't hire local contractors. They bring Chinese workers. In fact, we know of one project in northern Luzon where the Chinese workers are actually not in a barracks on shore, but they are staying in the barracks on their big ships, docked in the sea, no? So if you think about them providing employment to local workers, there's none. If you think about generating, the canteens where people can sell food, they can't because they have their own. So they will be competing with us. And PCA, together with other groups, we have already filed a motion to intervene in the Supreme Court case. And we are actively participating in the congressional proceedings because there are also legislations, of different variants that are being discussed now. Some are pro to or status quo, some are going to change, just like what happened to the entry of the foreign contractors. And even recently, the Solicitor General, Calida, has urged the Supreme Court to reverse the decision, allowing foreign construction companies to obtain regular licenses. And with all of this in mind, we now have to consider and adapt and embrace digital and other technologies to improve our productivity and efficiency as part of the Philippine construction industry roadmap. So the pandemic has simply accelerated our long overdue industry transformation. During this time, we have faced all the challenges and we will continue to face headwinds ahead. While transformation may take a while, we need to take the necessary steps towards transformation starting now. As you know, most of the construction players now are still yung pick and shovel. No? The very, very few companies now, construction companies, are actually using even power tools. No? We're still very basic. I know of some construction companies that, and it's not easy because it's expensive. And the only problem is if only few will use these technologies, the prices would remain high. But the moment many will adopt, I'm sure the price will go down. Just like the mobile phones, they used to be very expensive. So now, mobile phones, have become very, very cheap. And we need to embrace this technology or processes across the life cycle from design, construction, operations, and maintenance, and even permitting. As you know, even Pickup Now, to get your license, they're already allowing online. Membership on PCA, you can also do it online. And TESDA, with the assistance of PCA, has completed the training regulation for building information maintenance modeling that will soon be piloted. So it's really embracing new technologies. Some people ask, how can we use technology or digitization in the construction industry? What we wanted to start, for example, in the company I was associated with before I retired, even the reporting system, no? When project managers are supposed to, instead of sending emails or sending reports by courier, if it were possible, and it is possible now, if the project managers were provided with an iPad already with a template of the reports, and we can just send anytime. No? These are very simple forms of digitization, no? Embracing the new technology. And most of us are very familiar also, and I think, say, Rick, Engineer Rick Fornis, very familiar. Rick, you've been using the LiDAR in your studies, no?
Yes, yes, Albert.
Oh, these are just, instead of having the, when we were students, Rick, in San Carlos, no, we used to do the survey manually. Now we
You are
can use,
correct.
very, very sophisticated total stations. These are forms of, new technologies. They're not even new as we speak. Some, they've already been superseded. Okay. And as we rebuild, rebuilding alone is not enough. We have to rebuild better. And again, using technologies. So murang nakatabang pa ang pandemic, no, in a way. It's very, very, it's not nice to say it, but in a way, the pandemic has forced all of us to adjust. Even meetings now. You can just imagine, I used to fly to Manila twice a week for meetings in Manila, only to find out that we could actually do it virtually, and you save money on transport costs. No? So PCA has adopted the 5R horizon in dealing with the situation. That is responding, recovering, returning, reimagining, and reforming. As we rebuild, rebuilding alone is not enough. As I've said, we have to rebuild better. And PCA has gone digital with its PCA Talks. I don't know if everybody is familiar with the PCA Talks. We do this every month. And the topics varies from mental health, construction technologies, etc., etc. And even if you look at the Facebook page of PCA, on a weekly basis, and I think it's going to be daily soon, we are posting and we are sharing a lot of information about new construction technologies. So I would like to encourage everyone to take a look at the PCA Facebook page, because we have the regular updates and sharing of information. So our goal, our vision for the construction industry is to be a global partner in building nations. Sa pagkakaroon nowadays, at the present, no, most of these foreign contractors come to the Philippines and they get the Filipino contractors as partners, but actually we are subcontractors to them. Our vision is that we would be a global partner, hindi lang subcontractor. And I'd like to share with you very quickly this update of PCA on the Philippine construction industry roadmap. And you see on the screen, to ensure the sustainability of the construction industry's growth, PCA has developed in the Philippine construction industry roadmap 2020 to 2030 and its action plans together with the Department of Trade and Industry. These serve as the guiding document in creating platforms of convergences that facilitate the sharing of plans, programs, insights, and best practices from government and the private sector. It is PCA's commitment not just to support, but enable its implementation. And this graph you see on the screen is what PCA and the construction industry with DTI are forecasting. No, construction value with roadmap could go as high as 420 billion. Without the roadmap, meaning there will be no confidence from the investors, you would have a very, very low construction value. This was prepared in 2019, so it could only mean that there could be a setback, and this number could move, beyond 2030, because practically 2020 is down. Okay. Now the need for the roadmap, we're looking at the future of the construction industry, which is going to be sensitive to the sequence of actions that will be taken by all the stakeholders. With the roadmap, along with the momentum of the build, build, build. And we hope that happens, faster than it's happening now. And this will lead to an industry that with an accumulated construction value, as shown earlier. So in 2019, PCA we set our journey. And we have the PCA flagship programs. We have started the Train the Trainers program. We also started the construction site supervisors training program, then the construction trade supervisors training program, and the construction program management masterclass. I'd like to talk about this in more detail. The Train the Trainers program is an internationally assured training program of the Pambansang Trainer na Construction. This is PCA's pool of construction industry-based trainers. Then the construction trade and site supervisors training is an internationally assured program as well for those who are seeking to gain an understanding of leadership and management principles. And then the masterclass is an extensive program designed to allow participants to fully understand the entire program life cycle. I think if you regularly check the PCA Facebook, and also there will be information sent to the different PICE chapters, because sometimes we do the PCA Talks and the lectures in association with PICE. I would encourage everyone to join these trainings. These are all done virtually now. And then we also have, I already mentioned the PCA Talks, and most of you, I'm sure, have heard about it. Okay. So the rest of my slides actually are just visuals of the roadmap, which I hope the organizer will share. And I'm almost at the end of my presentation. So unlocking the future in 2020 onwards. So we hope later on after this slide, we will be showing you some a video, a very short video teasers for the incoming field construct. Okay, and I'd like to share it with you now. Can you hear the sound?
Not yet, sir.
Something wrong. I don't know, there's something wrong. Maybe because this copy was sent to the organizers, maybe you can replay this. This is actually a video teaser for the forthcoming field construct. I don't know why it's not working now.
Okay, sir. We'll see what we can do. Maybe our admin can play that video.
Yeah, but let's just finish this one. You can see the video anyway. So this is all about the incoming field construct, no? Sayang, the sound could have made the video more exciting. Okay, I'm now on my second to the last slide. PCA is very confident. PCA is now 75 years old, and we're very confident that PCA will help the country get back on track as it did after the Second World War when it was founded. And we are ready to face other opportunities to build a better tomorrow. We have the opportunity to build back better, so let us not waste this opportunity. I would like to request, I think my talk today would be more effective if you ask questions after this presentation. I'd be more than willing to answer questions after this. Dagang salamat. Magmaayong hapon. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sir Albert. It was a very insightful presentation, especially since I think that's what a lot of contractors would like to hear these days. And when you said that we have to rebuild and we have to rebuild better, that's really inspiring because I think the energy that we have to share with each other is really indeed very important in these trying times. Sir, with regards to question and answer, is it okay if we reserve all the questions at the end of the session?
Sure.
Okay, sir. So
I'll stick around and answer the questions later.
yes, sir.